pointers here. Let's go right to the front and bring in Amin Elhassan. He is the NBA front office insider for ESPN. Amin, welcome to the show. And first question, we're talking a lot about Ty Lawson. This is a damaged commodity. And if you were the Nuggets front office, what would you be doing right now to try to move him? And are other NBA front offices fully aware of the problems the Nuggets have with Ty Lawson, and will that make it difficult?
I think they are aware, but I think it's all contextual, right? We know that Ty Lawson wasn't this kind of personality, I should say, in the locker room earlier in his career. And then when things went sour, when the team went to a style that really didn't fit him, when there was a lot of uncertainty, he lost his cool. I wouldn't put him in the bad pile. I just put him in the NBA player pile. Most NBA players, when things are going well, they're going to be great guys, and when things aren't going well, they're going to act out, so to speak. And it's kind of like they're slim minorities on either end of the spectrum. The guys who are always going to be great people, and then there's the guys who are always going to be awful human beings. I just think Ty is one of the middle majority. But in the sense of what Denver can do, it's tough because it would have been nice had they kind of communicated their desire to move forward to him earlier, before he had a chance to kind of tweet out his musings and start talking about, well, I guess I'm going to Sacramento or whatever, because all that does is it really hurts his value. And he is valuable because he is still a very productive point guard on a very manageable deal, especially looking at some of the contracts that we're seeing being thrown around today.
Hi, this is Woody, and welcome back to the show. And we were talking earlier about Denver's not a location. Players don't want to come. Destination. It's not a destination team, but San Antonio, because of the organization, because of the coach, has become a destination, and we're seeing that again today. How in your mind did San Antonio become a destination that's a better destination than Colorado, or even Utah is considered a better destination than Denver? I mean, what happened to us out here?
well, for San Antonio, it's very easy. Tim Duncan. The end. Organizations are always going to be destinations. If you run a good organization, you can be anywhere, and you will attract free agents. Let me ask you this, Woody. Would you say Detroit is a destination?
If you're trying to get over the border, maybe.
Exactly. But Detroit signed Antonio McDyess to a big free agent deal when he was a free agent, 10 years ago. Well, why were they able to do that back then? Because they were a great team. They were a perennial conference final team. They were considered to be one of the best run teams in the league. A lot of people call them San Antonio East back then, 10 years ago. So I guess what I'm saying is, in a vacuum, is Miami more attractive than Salt Lake City? Of course it is. But you have to be a well-run team as well. People are not going to go and sign with garbage franchises. And that's why the Lakers have struggled over the last 3 years to get talent in the door, because it doesn't look like they know what they're doing. And what makes San Antonio attractive to players is because it looks like they know, and it doesn't look like they do. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And as a player, I know my career is going into good hands when I go there. And right now, what Denver is experiencing, again, over the last handful of years, is they don't have that reputation. They got a reputation of not knowing what they're doing. And the latest, even though I love their draft, I thought they did very well on draft night. But again, leaving the loose ends like Ty Lawson kind of just shrugging his shoulders like, I guess I'm out of here. That indicates an organization that's not really optimally run.
He's Amin Elhassan from ESPN, and all live guests are brought to you by Papa John's, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rockies. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
I mean, when you look at this, there's so much talk about the TV deal and how much it's going to change the contracts moving forward. It seems that some of these teams are being proactive in getting these guys off the market now. Are some of these teams, and we talk about the Nuggets trying to position themselves from a year from now, will they be left out in the cold perhaps because a lot of these guys that seemingly would be waiting for that big deal are going to get it a year early?
No, I mean, they're left out of the cold of these guys, but next year, there's going to be a whole new crop of free agents, and those guys, that's one thing. We're not going to see any of those guys, other than the rookies, sign extensions.
Okay.
Because the way for non-rookies now. So if I'm a player entering the last year of my deal, if I'm eligible to sign an extension, the most I can get is a 5% raise over whatever the last year of my deal had me making. Well, we know the cap is about to go up by 35 to 40%. So in that sense, for no free agent or intending like Kevin Durant, there is zero incentive for him to sign a deal because the cap is going to go up so much higher than whatever his extension number would be. It wouldn't be worth it for him. That's not to say Denver is going to get Kevin Durant, but you get my point. Every guy who's going to be a free agent next summer is in line for a huge raise unless he's in a body bag, pretty much. And so the Denver Nuggets, they're going to be in a good position to go out and get those guys. The other thing is, because a guy like Kevin Durant is going to be on the market, teams that have cap space or maybe not enough cap space are going to look to unload contracts. So look at a team like Miami with Wade and Dragic and Bosh and all that. They're going to have to look to unload some deals in order to be able to sign a Kevin Durant next year. Cleveland, for another example. Maybe get Kevin Love thing for a second year doesn't work out. They're going to look to unload those kind of deals. And that's where a team like Denver can be very opportunistic. Like, okay, I'll take your failed free agent signing from a year ago because I still think he's a good player, but you're going to also have to give me a first-round pick for my trouble. And that's how you can rebuild your franchise in a hurry.
Since your area of expertise and you know all about the NBA, I would ask you to name the 5 best owners. I'm going to throw you on the spot, but not throw you under the bus, I hope. Who are the best 5 owners in the NBA? Because we knew, Sterling took a hike after being one of the worst. Dolan's still out there with the Knicks. We talked about the management and ownership here, but who you talked about San Antonio. Who are the great owners in this league now?
The great owners who are still around, because many of them have moved on, either passed on or just sold the team. But in no order, Peter Holt, San Antonio is one. Mickey Arison, him and Mickey might be the 2 best, absolutely, as far as getting it, as far as giving your franchise enough leeway, while at the same time, giving them the financial resources they need to get stuff done. I think you'd have to put Les Alexander from Houston. Same thing. And this is a good rule of thumb. If you don't know what the owner looks like, if you've never heard of him, that's probably a good thing. because it's the guys that are wanting to jump in front of the camera, wanting credit. Like, Gilbert Aziz bought the Kings less than 3 years ago. And I've said his name probably more than any owner in the last 2 years. That's not good. You shouldn't be like that. You should be like, who owns the Kings again? I don't remember, but they're doing a great job, so he must be really smart. That's how it should be. So that's what I like about Mickey and Peter Holt, is that they let their guys handle the business, and they're there to hoist trophies in June. That's what they're there for. Beyond that, then it gets a little murky. I like Mark Cuban. I think he's learned a lot. I know it flies in the face of what I just said about owners wanting recognition, but I think Mark, more than any other owner, took it upon himself to learn the business and learn the basketball side of the business on a detailed level in a way that most owners don't. Most owners are like, oh, they just play basketball. It's easy,
It's kind of what we say about umpires. I mean, you make a great point. If you don't notice the umpires, it means they're usually doing a good job. Hey, I mean, does it feel to you like every player in this league is a free agent every year now? I mean, LeBron James, he was a free agent last year, he's a free agent this year, he's going to be a free agent again next year. Are we entering the Wild West here? Is there going to come a point where everybody's just a free agent all the time?
That's a very good observation. This is basically a result of the new collective bargaining agreement that we signed in 2011. We used to have, remember, way back when you could sign guys forever. Magic Johnson has a 25-year deal. Then, in the lockout in '99, they came back and said, well, the longest you can do is a 7-year deal. And 60 years if the guy is someone else's free agent. And then in 2005, they said, well, that's too long. We're going to do 6 years as the longest, and 5 years is the longest if you're signing someone else's free agent. And then in 2011, we got it down to 5 and 4. So that was one of the big things, is that the longest you can get for guys is 4 years, unless they're your own free agent, then you get 5. But on top of that, the TV money has changed. So it used to be, as a player, I want the longest term deal I can get. I want security. I want to know that I'm going to be here for a while. Well, now as a player, I'm looking at it and say, well, I don't want to sign for 1990, or for, I don't know what, my brain went to a place there. I don't want to sign for 2014 prices and then see that 2017 prices are way, way nicer. So now all these players who would previously have sought the longest term deal to make sure they're locked in are now trying to get even shorter deals because they want to get back into free agency while they're still in their prime and capitalize on this huge windfall of money where basically the tide is going to carry everybody up.
The opt-out clause, I mean, it's the bane of the NBA's existence.
Yeah, well, you know, this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
This is what the owners wanted, and they wanted a league with more parity, like the NFL. But one of the biggest hallmarks, I think, of the NFL is you can't buy a jersey, right?
Right.
You buy a jersey, it's obsolete the next week because that's just how the NFL is.
Yeah.
The NBA is turning. It'll never be like the NFL because we have guaranteed deals, but we're heading in that direction where it's really hard to say, for a kid in Portland to say, well, LaMarcus Aldridge is our franchise cornerstone. I'll buy an Aldridge jersey. Well, that's already obsolete. You know, Damian Lillard, it looks like he's going to be around for 5 years, but who knows? He may demand a trade in a couple, looking at some of the moves they've done.
Yep, great point. I mean, thanks for your time, man. How can people follow you on Twitter?
At Amin ESPN, AMIN, and then the last 4 letters you should already know.
Yeah.
I am active, though, so I always warn people. If you're one of those people who likes to just pop in for nuggets of newsworthy items, I'm not the guy to follow.
Well,
the conversation.
We follow, and we appreciate your time. Thanks, Amin.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Amin Elhassan, NBA front office insider from ESPN. Live guest brought to you by Papa John's, the official sponsor of the Colorado Rockies. The day after every Rockies win, like today, you can get 50% off your regular menu price online order at papajohns.com. You have to do it online, papajohns.com, and use the promo code ROCKSWIN.